sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking to drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I'll never shoot up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking to drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I'll never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
Yeah, and we are live with episode 3 of season 2 of Kyle Moucha Won't Shut Up.
Right.
Yeah. Joining me, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's nothing
cool.
special or anything. Joining me so reluctantly, apparently, as always, is Mr. Justin Olimpado.
What's up?
How you doing today, Justin?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Having an all right day?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
All right.
Minus the fucking rain.
Yeah, the rain. The rain's not good. It's like we said before, it has been raining since it stopped snowing, and it's about to start snowing again.
Yep.
It's the vicious cycle of living in the Poconos.
Pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. All right, joining us also, as usual. I say that because you just missed the first episode, so forever I'm just going to say as usual.
And no one heard that episode.
No one has heard most of those, any of these episodes. But
that's not the official first episode.
No. The one that he and I did, the March Madness episode.
The Twitch?
The super secret.
Yeah.
That's like the super secret.
No, that's actually the first episode that's on iTunes.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the official first one. You couldn't make it.
Yeah, I didn't listen to any of that shit.
You didn't listen to any of this shit ever. How many minutes of this show have you actually listened to, do you believe?
None.
It's a good estimate. But who we're talking to here, who is this? This is Mr. Zachary.
I've been sick for 2 weeks.
Stormin. Have you been sick since the Buka Boys night?
Yeah, I've been sick since Buka Boys.
What does that say about Buka Boys?
That means... It means I'm so addicted to Buka Boys and having withdrawals from it.
You're having withdrawals?
But I haven't had any Buka in that long, and my body is just shutting down.
There wasn't any Buka at the wedding this weekend, so that sucks for you.
Suffice.
Yeah, you think you could have a jelly bean or two that'll help you out?
It helps a little bit,
but it doesn't have that burn that you're looking for.
Doesn't have that Buka Boys burn that I love.
It's a terrible burn. I told multiple people about it in the last week or so, and everybody looked at me like I was a psychopath. Like, why would you do that to yourself? What are you putting yourself through for? What purpose? And I'm like,
to get sick for 2 fucking weeks.
Because it's fun to be sick for 2 weeks. Exactly. We all want that.
It's terrible.
So again, we're brought to you by Sambuca. It makes you sick for 2 weeks. And last week we were brought to you by cock rings last week.
Cock rings, just get one on your cock.
Just get one on your cock. That's the slogan for cock rings. All right, this week we have a very special guest that we're going to be getting to a little bit later on, but he's going to be in studio throughout.
There he is.
There he is. That was him. That was his burp that just happened there. No, it is my lovely little brother, Mr. Colorado Jones, a.k.a. Keith Moucha, a.k.a. Puke, a.k.a. Cheif, a.k.a. Chief Guns Blazin', a.k.a. Lil Pimpin, a.k.a. Big Pimpin', a.k.a. not Mitch Hedberg. I don't know. What else we got?
That's a good one. Hey, yo, have you guys heard this dude, not Mitch Hedberg?
Krusty and Micah used to call me Krusty.
Yeah, he used to call you Krusty? Okay.
When I was dishing
Krusty
at Perkins.
Keith.
You were dishing at Perkins? Where were you dishing?
Dishing up some fucking shit.
Some dishes? Were you dishing up some
mainly
dishes?
cleaning the bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. Were you working there at all when you could smoke still in the building? They had the smoking area. Like, you would walk through the kitchen and go to the left 8 feet.
Yeah.
And there was the smoking break section for the employees.
Right.
It was amazing if you weren't eating there. Now it's, I'm sure, better. They've had 10 years to remove from the smoking.
I remember when Walmart had a smoking room for their employees.
I do remember that as well. Yeah, that is crazy. It's weird that shit, like in the mall when at least you and I were younger, they had the big sand pillars that everyone had their cigarette butts in and everything.
You could smoke in the mall.
You can smoke anywhere that wasn't in like a department store.
When they had the hard floor.
Yeah, the hard floor and everything. And then they put the carpet and it became the quietest mall ever. They're like, oh, we're going to put carpet in.
It is a very weird mall.
It's so creepy quiet. I don't think they play music in the mall. I don't think they have a system to play music. If they do, it's only during Christmas.
There's just like this echo you hear when you walk in.
Yeah, it's the souls.
They play echoes.
Dampened footsteps.
Yeah. Oh, it's not good.
And it's even more weird when you get the old people walking around.
Well, the power walking people are great. That is, I think, 90% of the foot traffic.
That's all you hear for like 2 fucking hours in the morning.
But now it's carpeted, so you don't hear it anymore.
Mall pros.
Yeah. Hey, you stay in the mall. You work in the mall for too long. You see all these things.
Yeah.
Kyle works at the mall.
I used to work at the mall.
Corey used to work at the mall.
Is that what it is from that song? It's Corey, right?
It's a jerk reaction. Shout out to those guys if any of them are listening.
What was the...
Was it Corey, though, that they said?
Going to the mall. Go to the mall. I like going to the mall. Corey works at the mall.
Yeah.
He did work... Oh, he worked at Rock and Willie's.
Jerk reaction
That is true. He worked at both locations of Rock and Willie's. Correct, yeah. So today, in personal news for me, I broke my phone. You guys all seen...
You did, man.
I destroyed... I'm still reading off of it. But this was in...
Way too much porno on it.
Oh, my God. Wait till it happened at 2 o'clock. But I sat on it. I always have it in my back pocket, and I was getting out of the car, and I was just like at a weird angle, and I was at like the sturdy part of the chair, or the car seat, and my car seat. I got unbuckled, my big boy seat. And someone helped me out, and as I was like leaning, I just felt it shatter in my pocket. So it is shit. It was already a terrible phone. The iPhone 7 wasn't really that great. It was a great game device. It was a great toy. It is still those things. And now it's really good for spliced porn. It kind of brings me back to watching like HBO when you didn't get HBO.
All fuzzy,
and it was all fuzzy. It harkens back to a simpler time.
Simpler time.
Simpler time. Oh. But yeah, so that happened while I was getting out of the car when I was going grocery store today. Going grocery store.
When I was going
grocery store.
I was going to the grocery store today.
I was going work.
And I was walking around Weiss, and Tuesdays is the senior citizens discount day.
Right.
So there's a lot of blue hairs walking around Sunday driving all over that store. But I realized something because I had very bad gas immediately upon getting out of the car. I was like, oh, my stomach hurts, and then my phone thing happened. I'm walking around, and I was like, all right, there's no way I'm holding this for the 20 minutes we're going to be in here. And then so I got real close to an old lady.
Oh, God.
And I let a little bit go. And I stood there long enough till I smelt it and felt real bad, and I walked away. And then I just proceeded that every time I was around an elderly person, I just let a little bit of my fart out. And it was wonderful because there is fart shame in the world.
I don't believe in that.
You should be able just to fart wherever you want, and I do a lot of the times. Zach farts anywhere.
I farted at a fucking bar mitzvah. I fart while your nephew's getting confirmed.
Yeah.
I fart when they say you may now kiss the bride.
I farted once, and Kyle told me I couldn't eat quesadillas anymore.
Yeah, I told him he couldn't eat eggs and quesadillas or peanut butter, I think, because I just went over everything you ate that day. It was the worst smell I've ever smelled. I think I punched you because it smelled so bad. It was.
I'm proud of you.
For almost like 2 days.
2 days because of a fart. It was so bad, and I was like, you need to know that you have to poop, and you're like, I can't control it, just comes out, and I'm just like, and that's going to come out of your body. And he was like,
it just sneaks up on you.
Sometimes it does.
Did you say sneaks up or snakes up?
It snakes up.
It just snakes up in your guts.
It just like snakes.
Let the venom loose
out through your butt.
From your sphincter.
Just seeps your
sphincter venom.
Sphincter venom?
Yeah.
That's the new Tom Hardy movie.
Man, best superhero ever.
Yeah, he's boofing Venom. Do you think he could boof Venom? Do you think anybody's ever boofed Venom? Just real
Probably.
Venom?
Like spider venom?
Yeah, spider venom.
They call alcohol poison.
Yeah.
People.
Maybe.
Poison is another word for venom.
It's true. I think it might have happened. All right. Another thing that might have happened did happen, actually. This past weekend, our brother Craig got married in Hershey.
Our collective brother.
Our collective.
You're a fan of the show.
You're a fan of the show. Keith and I, our brother, we were in the wedding. We were both groomsmen. Zach attended the wedding. Lucy, who's sitting in as well, she was there for the wedding. Justin was not. He had to work.
Yeah, I had to work.
He had to work. But I want to talk a little bit about
It wasn't important to Justin.
It wasn't. Craig.
Fuck you guys.
And Allie. Justin doesn't care about either of you. Especially you, Craig. He doesn't.
Greg's a good guy. I like
Craig's
him.
alright.
I got nothing against him.
I like him alright.
He gave me a watch and a knife and some socks. This is pretty good.
He gave me this really nice ashtray that's like a Hershey Kiss.
Oh yeah, this is a nice ashtray.
I'm keeping money in mine.
That's good.
What I decided.
You want to hear some shit? Levi just gave his wedding gift away.
To a random person?
I hope this is the first time Craig hears it.
Yeah. I don't think Levi messaged him after the wedding about this.
Thanks for the wedding present.
Who did he give it to?
Somebody at Zach.
Okay. So it wasn't like he just walked up to somebody at a gas station. He was like, "You want a Hershey Kiss? It's made of glass." Here, we were all so mad when we opened it for like 3 seconds, and then I was like, "Oh, it's a dish." I was like, I just thought it was like a paperweight. I was like, oh, because I really was hoping it was like a 5-pound Hershey Kiss. Like I had my heart set on that. I'm like, I am eating this tonight. Like this is gonna be gone. And so in my drunken state, I was like, God, no, it's just like decorative thing. And then we open it and we're like, oh, you can put Hershey Kisses in it. Cool. But you can't fit a whole bag of Hershey Kisses in there. This is for like...
That's for Hershey Kisses that you don't eat.
Greg, I'm sorry.
It's decorative.
It's decorative.
We're talking shit.
No, I love it. I like it. I found a place for it already, and I'm going to use it, but I'm probably not going to use it for Hershey Kisses. I'm going to use it for, small... I'm going to probably put like, I don't know, maybe... Potpourri, yeah. No, I was going to say maybe a little bit of like some almonds or something in there. Because it's a small enough size that you can put it like and just take...
Butterscotch.
Butterscotch and some hard candies. Ooh, yep, that's what I'm doing. It's my hard candy.
Root beer barrels, I think.
Just throw some pistachios.
Pistachios? I don't really eat the pistachios that much. I need to start getting into them. Man. I'm getting old. That's the thing that you start liking as you get older a lot, I hear. Pistachios. They're good for your heart.
Putting rolled up $20 bills in mine.
Yeah?
Yes.
That's good for your heart, too.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to talk about with this wedding, aside from the actual events of the wedding, is the location that Zach and I stayed.
Oh my God!
For this weekend, we went down on Friday. We drove down. The two of us and Alyssa drove down, and we were staying with our friends, Ethan and Megan, Zach and Levi, and we get to the area. We pull off, and it's called, was it like a tent city? They have some weird name like that for the area, but it's called Mount Gretna. So if you're listening to this, just Google Mount Gretna and look at the images. They are not enough to really describe the place. Okay. I was describing it as, if you've ever watched Gilmore Girls, it is the town of Stars Hollow crushed down into like 1 square mile, and all of the houses are like 20 feet wide and like 20 feet deep max, and they're like only 2 stories. They're small. Everything's very small, and you are right on top of everybody. And we pulled in. We were allowed to park at the church. It took about, in this small mile square area, 20 minutes
goddamn church
to find the church, because it's like a city.
Is it not next to where you were staying?
It is directly next to it.
The roads, some of the roads you can't drive on.
A lot of the roads just say foot traffic only. So the address that we were trying to get to was on a road that was foot trafficked only. Also, all the road signs are hand painted in this town. We spoke to a local, and they said, "Oh, you have a town like this over by you guys in the Poconos," and I'm assuming they were talking about the Delaware Water Gap. And I said, "Yeah, kind of, but not anywhere close to." It's kind of I get maybe like the feel and like the type of people that are living there might be a little bit similar. In
maybe they meant Shady Maple Trailer Park.
Maybe.
Is that the one that's on Mount Nebo?
No, that's the one up in Henryville. Don't go to Shady Maple. You definitely get shot. Steve saw a guy die there.
So let's go. Let's move there. Actually, I'm gonna get that Airbnb. That'd be great.
It's down the street from my parents' house, like pretty far, but on the same street.
Somebody's saying hello.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, we do have in the live chat here, because we are live. Mariah is saying hello to Mocha, which
what up, Mariah?
means Keith.
Yeah,
because it is my name too. It's confusing.
Yeah, I thought it was a shout out for both of you.
It's not a shout out for both of us. She is specifically shouting out to him because that is everybody in Pay
their Mocha
calls him Mocha,
and you are brother,
and
Kyle.
I am brother Kyle.
I think this was mentioned previously.
We've done this before.
You're right.
Well, and hello to Mariah. Mocha brother number 1. That's not even true.
It's 5. I think.
Mocha brother number 2. Listen to the theme song. It describes the whole situation. 5th in the family, first in my mind, 1 out of 10, but I'm doing just fine. You know, it's the song I wrote. Those are the lyrics.
I remember.
Correct.
I would say that you were in like the failing half.
Yeah, I'm in the failing half.
I'm like, because if you got like a 6 out of 10, that was failing.
It's 60. I am the start of the failure.
You're in the failing half.
It's a good way to look at it.
So
it's
the
not
first
inaccurate.
5 of you are failures?
No, the first 4 are success, and then 6 on down are all failures. That's what Keith is saying.
No, okay.
Keith is saying we are all failures. I just want everybody to know that Keith is the one saying this repeatedly over and over again. Keith is saying that everybody in our family that is younger than me is a failure, which is what he's saying. Sorry, everybody. That's on him. So this town, I felt like we immediately were gonna be visited by like Mulder and Scully. I thought that they were just gonna like just plop in and be like, "There's a smell coming from this neighbor's house, and there's a weird dog creature that went in and out the other day, and blah blah blah." And it's been reported, and we're here to investigate it.
Right.
It is a real cliquey, tiny little town. They definitely didn't like the idea of outsiders, even though this place has been rented, and there are other Airbnbs within Mount Gretna.
Well, I mean, there's definitely something going weird. Fucking hand painted signs.
Yeah, no, it's real quaint. Like it's a fairy tale fucking city. It's like Bruges just dropped in the middle of the woods. Right. It is, but without the crazy architecture. But they're all about porches and porch life, basically. Just kind of you relax. Everything's all canopy. You know, all the trees are right above the houses. They said there was one house or 2 houses that has one tree growing right between the 2 of them, and they've just been slowly building around the house or building around the tree as it's grown larger.
Yeah, if a serious tree went down in that neighborhood, it'd take out 20 fucking houses.
Yeah. Now, they said the way it started was they had a plot of land, and there were a bunch of people that moved in there, and they were living in tents. Okay. And this is like 100 years ago. And then slowly people took their plots that they had their tents on and started building little cottages. And it went from there. So these people are building houses on the plot that they were using just for tents.
Sure.
So you can imagine how on top of it, on top of each other you are. And I think it's Saturday morning before I had to leave to get to the wedding. I'm outside smoking a cigarette, and this neighbor lady walks by, and she goes, "Oh, smokers!" And at that moment, I'd handed the cigarette to Ethan, so Ethan was taking a drag and just like looked at her. And I'm like, "You dirty smoker, man!" Like the first drag of cigarette he probably took all weekend, and he's just like, And I'm like, you're a dirty smoker. So she comes back and she like, you know, asks about, you know, where we're from and starts bullshitting. And immediately she is a nice, mean lady. She is a very
Just
nice, condescending telling me I'm going to die. Ethan kept saying that afterwards. He was like, you should have told her that she was going to die. Like, butting into people's businesses is a surefire way to death. And that I might die from cancer, but you're going to die naturally before I do. I'm like, that's kind of what was going through my head. But she was telling us the history and like everything local, but then she was kind of being snoopy, like, oh, how many more you got in there? And Zach was sleeping, and I was like, oh, there's just one guy sleeping. She went, oh, well, the limit for this house is usually 6, I hear. And we're just like, Jesus Christ, lady, like, what is? She was the local Gestapo for how many people could stay at the Airbnb. But it was weird.
To go through a bunch of rigmarole. Was that
the owner of it?
No, that was just the neighbor, the lady that lived next door or owned the house next door. But it was crazy. It was weird. Zach, what was your immediate impression when we pulled in there?
Oh, that I was gonna die.
What did you
One way or another.
Did you have any specific ideas of what was going to kill you? A mob of angry white people in the middle of the night.
Well, where I was sleeping in the house, the ceiling was 8 inches high.
Yep.
Jesus.
And that was the second lowest ceiling. There was one lower.
There was a lower one. Maybe, like, I hit my head at least 4 or 5 times in the middle of the night from, like, trying to sit up in bed.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just wham!
On the bed, he had maybe 20 inches.
Yeah.
Were you on a bunk bed?
No.
I was
This
just
is
in the loft. It was just weird.
Now,
loft.
there was another loft that right when we got there, Zach walked in and went to go upstairs and check it out. And once you get to the top, you have to start crawling because the ceiling's so low.
Right.
And he gets up there and he you couldn't stand up top, right?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No
So
way.
you're still.
Well, see, that one was even weirder because that was like more enclosed, and on the very top of the steps, between there and the top of the roof, was maybe 30 inches.
Yeah. And then you couldn't get out without.
You couldn't turn around and come down. You had to crawl back down the same way you went up. It was crazy.
It was absurd. And those were I think 2 of the beds that could sleep 2, or one of them could sleep 1, the other could sleep 2. So in the count of like who could, it was absurd. Now the houses were like creaky and everything. Every time you moved, like you heard everything.
Ooh, sorry.
But that being said, don't apologize for that. That was beautiful.
I was more apologizing to myself for scaring myself.
Oh,
I didn't realize that was happening.
Did you poop a little bit?
I mean,
sometimes it sneaks up on you, which is what I was saying.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you.
But yeah, it was just a bizarre.
That's what Keith was saying. Damn it!
The whole village, everything about it was just completely bizarre. But luckily, that was just where we were sleeping. The wedding itself, I mean, Keith, you were there, so feel free to chime in. Yeah. I think the most impressive part of the whole setup was that during the cocktail hour, they had an oyster bar with a guy sitting there just bullshitting with people and just shucking oysters the entire hour.
Yeah.
And they had
that guy was cool.
He was great.
It was cool. Yeah,
he was really awesome. They had baked clams. They had the nice succulent.
He looked
shrimp.
like a professional BMX rider.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this guy, man? Like fucking Dave Mirra is fucking shucking oysters.
I don't think he's doing that.
Is that what? I don't know what shucking means.
Shucking. That's shucking. Yeah.
Shucking
like
oysters,
corn.
Well. It's
like,
I don't know what else can you shuck?
It's hard to open the oyster.
What were you referring to? What
opening the oyster?
Yeah, opening.
Shucking.
That's shucking.
Shucking oysters.
Is there anything else you can shuck besides oysters and corn? Is there anything besides like shucks and G shucks? Can you shuck anything else?
You could go shuck this cock.
You can shuck this cock. You can shuck a cock, I'm sure.
Shuck.
Now, do you need a special tool to shuck a cock, or is it more like in the way that you would shuck a corn on the cob?
With your hands.
All right, we're gonna go with that.
Shuck a cock with your hands.
How else are you gonna do it? That
Give
oyster
me a bagel
knife.
to fuck.
That oyster knife looks real terrible to do anything with your wiener. Now, last week we had the guys from Abomination Brewing here.
Yes.
And listening back to the episode, I remembered that we talked about making our own beer with them.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
Now, this is something that I don't want to have fall by the wayside. They said for $200, We were going to crowdfund it.
Yeah.
Now we're couch funding it, as I said. $200, they will brew us like a barrel of beer that we want. Now, what I want to
going with the.
That's what I want to discuss. I want to discuss.
I'll pick 3
Let's
ingredients
start
or one major.
Let's start the ball rolling on this. How do we want to approach creating our beer? We're going to give
first we have to figure out a style. What kind of beer do we want to make?
So, do you have any preferences of anything that you would like? They're really big on the sours and everything like that. And they've done the IPAs. What kind of beer? I know, Zach, you're not the biggest IPA fan.
No.
Justin and I kind of drink anything.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if we're going to do something like a white Belgium.
A Belgian?
Yeah. Because then we can add anything and it pretty much goes
fruity. If they can do that, though, I don't know. That's a
that
weird beer.
or an ale.
I was saying I'd just let them do their. They're a big IPA guys. I figured
just make
we let them do their IPA thing.
All right,
and then just pick up the ingredients.
And then we each pick a couple ingredients.
Now, do we want to do the secret 2, as you said last week, Zach, where each of us will pick 2 ingredients and not tell the other person? Do you like that idea? Or do you want to work together?
Depends if we want to create the grossest beer of all time or the best.
Yeah, so what do we want to do? Do we want to make everyone hate us? Because I'm gonna try to drink all of it no matter what.
That hate us.
Yeah, but
I already hate you guys.
Yeah. All right, so we can do that.
Fuck it.
I like when you have a nice grapefruit in a beer.
Yeah.
Dog shit.
Well, that's the problem we're going to come across. Is like I said, like someone could choose. Yeah, someone could choose like, oh, okay, I'll be nice. I'll say blackberries. Okay, and the next person's like, clam juice, and you're just like, fuck my life. Fuck.
I've actually had a beer made with clam juice.
Yeah. It's not.
Oysters.
It's called not good.
No. It was a flying.
Flying
clam,
flying dog,
flying dog man,
flying dog man, flying man bear pig. Is that who made it? No.
Yes.
Flying dog. And it was what kind of beer was it? Do you remember?
It was a stout.
A stout.
Fish stout.
A fish stout.
It just tasted like coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
Fish stout.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I could do that. All right. So
I didn't want to because when I go into the bar, I just say, "Give me anything." You know what I mean? Like I just like to try different beer.
Yeah.
So as long as the only stipulation is I don't want a stout and I don't want a porter. When I'm going out to drink, I don't want something that's going to fucking
fill you up
forever.
and then yeah.
Like I'm going out because I want to try new beer.
Yeah.
And
not
I didn't
try
realize,
one new beer.
Yeah, and didn't realize that when I was drinking it, it was brewed with oysters and clam juice.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's subtle, or not even noticeable.
I didn't notice it.
That's crazy.
Until I was reading the bottle, and I'm like,
is that the weirdest thing that you've ever consumed and then found out what it was as far as beer goes? Doesn't get much weirder than seafood in your beer.
You should have run with that. What other seafood could you throw into this beer? Like, you can get some, like, octopus juice or something.
Oh.
Geoducks.
If you don't know what that is, Google it now.
You go calamari, just straight calamari flavor. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could do the ink.
We could do a seafood bisque beer.
What if you do like
beer?
Do like a fish and chips beer? I think that'd be cool.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips. They would just taste like beer and potatoes.
It would just taste like beer and potatoes.
It's like fishy potatoes.
It's a potato boilermaker, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Oh no! All right, so we're saying we're gonna go IPA, and we're gonna. Do we want to just stick with picking random?
I mean, how's it going to be random? Are we going to be able to get in contact with them, or do we have to go through you?
No, I think that we can each pick what we're going to do, and we can announce on the show, and then we can give it to them.
All right, we'll do that.
So then we can have all of that run up to it, where we're like, oh fuck, we've got 3 weeks until this event, and we already told you that we're going to be brewing it with this horse shit, and then this dog shit. And then these jalapenos.
You mix bird shit and goose shit together. Tell you what you get. You get a weird color.
What type of bird, though? Because a goose is a bird.
No,
I just have two birds.
Goose shit and bird shit is not similar at all.
A goose is a bird, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but no, when you say bird shit, you know what I mean.
You're talking like the white stuff on your car.
White pigeon shit.
And now what does goose shit look like?
Go to Zacky's Pond.
Man. It's like little Tootsie Rolls.
It's like Tootsie Rolls. Yeah, it's dark.
That is right. Yeah, it's dark. Because then they start turning white as they sit out.
They turn white when they get old, but regular bird shit is immediately white.
Yeah, don't go trick-or-treating at Zacky's Pond.
Yeah, you'll just get heroin.
Heroin and Tootsie Rolls that you don't want to eat.
That Tootsie Roll.
All right, so we'll do that. IPA, we'll individually come up with
I'm picking
two
Tootsie
options.
Rolls. That's
Tootsie
a great
Rolls.
flavor.
That is a good flavor.
Not a bad idea. I wonder
feel
how
like
they
I feel like
that.
Tootsie Rolls and black licorice is gonna be like your two things.
I was just gonna say it's gonna be a Buka beer, isn't it?
Buka boy, drink your Buka beer.
Oh Lord!
All right. Tell them to put a bunch of cloves in it.
Beets.
Beets and cloves.
Beets, tomatoes.
Here's a nice
Battlestar Galactica.
Lettuce would be gross.
Battlestar.
I don't know if you would get it.
That would just be water, right?
Water, yeah.
And what flavor would Battlestar Galactica be? Jesus.
Science fiction, dude.
Sci-fi. It's whatever you.
I feel like it would have like a metallic taste to it.
A little bit of a metallic taste.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So this week in comedy news, Pete Davidson from SNL had a wonderful little flub. Not really a flub. He wrote it. It was a joke that he wrote.
With the eye patch.
The eye patch guy. So this guy Crenshaw, I think it was Dan Crenshaw, something along that line. He has an eye patch because he lost an eye fighting for our country at war. And
Afghanistan,
I believe. And Pete Davidson was doing a story, a little joke about all of the weirdest looking people that are running for office. And one guy he said looked like Bruce Willis, but if he was carved out of a penis. And a couple other good ones. But this guy, he just said, I don't know, he dropped some line about him, but the guy fired back in the nicest way and basically said, he's making a joke like we shouldn't have to be overly apologizing for every little thing that comes up. Anybody that misspeaks or anything like that, he kind of put his foot in his mouth. My two questions are: A, do you think it's election night tonight? Do you think that exposure is going to guarantee that guy the election? Because nobody knew his name before that.
What's he running as?
Nobody still knows because nobody fucking cares about SNL.
Is he running as
the story is
Republican
bigger than the
or
show
Democrat?
now. That's the thing. I think he's
I haven't heard about this story.
Yeah, I haven't.
I also, if I see a headline that has to do with Pete Davidson, SNL, or that other bitch you used to date, I don't fucking read it.
You don't read it.
Because I don't want to know.
A lot of people do, though. A lot of people do. And it became a story. So,
sorry, what Ariana Grande. I said
Grande,
that bitch.
The bitch is
that bitch. If you're listening, Ariana Grande, whatever the fuck your name is,
Zach will marry you right now.
I heard you have a pig, Ariana. That's
pigs are cool pets.
I would like a pig
for about 6 months. I hear.
Yo, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think all the random texts you're getting random texts, right? To go out and vote.
Yeah. Like, hi, my name is the one I got.
Oh no, I never got those.
The guy it said my name is Thab. I think
my name is
Thabo. Thabo. My name is Thabo.
Do you think that has something to do with that emergency alert system shit?
I don't know. I have no. I
didn't get the emergency alert either
because
I didn't get the presidential one.
That's what I mean.
I did not get the presidential one either, and I got the.
But do you think that was a test to see if they could reach phones through a means?
Maybe I think that's more you signed up with a certain party at some point, or filled out some paperwork at some point, and you're now just on a list. And
maybe
during the election season, they can go after you.
Wait, now
I've never voted.
Are you registered to vote?
I've never voted.
I am, yes.
I've never been registered to vote.
I'm registered in 3 states.
Keith's registered in 3 states, so that's good enough for you, Justin. He's got you covered.
Yeah.
He's not voting for you, but he's also not voting for him.
It might be too late for the Arizona write-in ballot.
Yeah, at this point, I think you're a couple weeks behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm registered to vote. I voted today, and I vote usually during most elections.
Right.
I did not vote until I think like the 2008 election, like for president. So there was about like 5 years where I could have voted, 4 years where I could have voted, where I opted not to. Really, I kind of do it the way I do everything. I wait until like I'm on my way there, and then I just start looking up what the people say about themselves,
right?
And I look at how they describe themselves, and I go, all right, do I think you're 100% full of shit? Do I at least can you at least lie to me good? Can you lie to me well? Because I don't trust any of you. I think all of you are 100% full of shit. Unless I know
really
you
break
personally.
It down, most of the shit is all the same, or just the variation of
almost every politician. I mean, once you're in there, you're getting money from people that are all special interests, and all of what you were claiming to be standing for pretty much is going to go out the window. And you can lie up and down all you want to your constituents that you're not doing that, but most likely that's what you're doing. And that's why I like to vote for people who are running for the first time. I always do that. It's kind of my shortcuts to voting. If they've never, ever been elected to office, give them a shot. Why? Because nobody else seems to have done anything that has impressed me.
I agree with that, dude.
So there's that. And then if I personally know you in a local election, Tara was running. Doc is still the mayor, but he will.
Doc's still the mayor.
He'll stop whenever. Yeah, he was in the Cinder a couple weeks ago. I was talking to him. He said hi, actually.
Oh, cool. But we have the same birthday.
I remember you told me that. Yeah, he didn't get you drunk at Rudy's, though, when you turned 21.
He told me when I turned 21, he was like, I'll do 21 shots under the table, but he turned like 60-something. Yeah. So I was like, you got to do 60 shots if you want me to do 21.
Yeah. You wanted to kill Doc. You're an evil person. He's the mayor of East Stroudsburg, and he's the...
he gave me my driving lessons in high school.
Yeah, he works at the high school. He's
Doc, if you're listening, man.
Like sports medicine or something like that.
You're a good dude.
He's a good guy. But he's never... He runs like unopposed every single election. I don't know. I think it's every 2 or 3 years.
You were going to run one year.
I was going to run the one year. That reminder just came up on
Doc just Facebook. Doesn't want to do it.
He doesn't want to do it. He literally would step aside if somebody else ran, like seriously.
What is it? Mayor of Eastburg doesn't really do anything.
Don't really do much of anything. It's
That's a perfect job for you.
Kind of ceremonial, and you make very minimal. I mean, it is a great job
because you still work your normal job.
Yep.
And then just on top of that, people know you.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, I would be the mayor working the bar at the Cinder.
Yeah,
and then
which is an even better picture.
Yeah, and I've got 9 to 5 Monday through Friday available right now. You know, I work nights and weekends. You're fucking sick. I'm good.
I don't think you get in office.
That's the next mockumentary.
I don't think I get elected. I don't think I'm allowed to be elected at this point.
Why?
Well, things I've said on this show for one. If anything, that might bolster my chances. 2 DUIs. I think that plays in my favor in this town.
Probably.
Everyone's like, one of us. Yeah, I could just run under the slogan, elect a real Cutterman.
Yeah.
Even though I'd be running unopposed, just throw the word Cutterman out there as much as I possibly can. Just really start dropping it with a hard cutter.
Man,
you don't want to say Cutterman. You know, you don't want to like soften it in any way. No. You got to be as insulting as possible. It's a great word, again, to shout at the Cinder and not knowing who you are definitely going to be offending, because 1 in 5 could be a counterman.
You're right. That is true, dude.
It could be. But the other thing I was going to ask with the thing, that the whole Pete Davidson flub, what is the biggest time that you've ever put your foot in your mouth that you would admit to? Biggest time that you've ever... started saying something or said something and you just wound up being the complete biggest jackass. Anything off the top of your head?
Nothing that I can really think of. Nothing that I was like, oh fuck.
No.
Like, that's fuck. No,
yeah.
I don't think
all right,
so.
Keith, anything that you can think of off the top of your head?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind was it was like my first time serving at the spa that I worked at.
Yeah.
And there was this guy that, what's it called? He was like a guest at the spa. So I went and gave him his salad, and it was like a balsamic dressing on the side.
Yeah.
And it fell on him. And I forget exactly what I said, but I made some like short little like quip, and he just like reamed into me. And I was like, man, I was just trying to like, you know, brush over it as quick as possible. Like, sorry I dumped this fucking smelly ass dressing all over you.
You were trying to come up with a quick joke to make it not as awesome.
Soften the issue.
Yeah.
These are rich people that don't like you making jokes about them having shit all over.
Manhattan elitist kind of guy.
Yeah.
All right. Zach, anything? Or do you just, you can't put your foot in your mouth?
I really don't feel bad about anything I've ever said, ever.
All right. Yeah. The first thought when I thought of that question that I had was, and it's not even a real foot in my mouth. It was somebody making me feel that way. I was about 13, 14 years old, and people are going back doing like dumb yo mama jokes, blah, 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 back and forth. Right. And the best way, if you wanted to avoid having to be a part of yo mama jokes, I found out in this situation, was to lie and say your mom was dead.
Okay.
So this girl comes in and I said, your mom's so fat when she sits around the house, she sits around the house. Yeah. And this girl just looks at me. I think her name was Meg. And she has like this just stone cold serious face. And she's like, my mom died 3 days ago. And like walked out of the room. And I was like, holy fuck. Holy, how the fuck did nobody, why are you in school? Oh, she's fucking with me. And she had me in front of everybody. Everybody. My favorite also is when you start talking to somebody about their current relationship status, and you're just like, oh yeah, how's that person doing? Tell them I love them. Oh, send on.
Oh yeah, maybe in that situation.
They cheated on you and then left. Okay, shit, fuck. Yeah. Fuck my life.
Yeah. That is an awkward situation.
That was a slow crack there. Speaking of slow crack, the beer that we've been drinking for the most part right now.
Slow crack.
Slow crack. Lion's Head. We've been drinking the wonderful Pilsner. It's a deluxe Pilsner beer. Lion's Head. This is from Scranton, correct? Scranton.
Scranton water in it.
Yeah. Scranton water.
Nasty.
And it says, for the thirst that roars. But it used to have a different slogan, Zach, didn't it?
I have his big sticker of it. It says Lion's Head, best head in town.
Best head in town. I don't think they should have ever changed that. We also, we're drinking Lion's Head because Keith has been out on the West Coast, and when you come back, you like to drink Yingling Lager, have a couple of those. Yeah. Nobody ever comes back and drinks Lion's Head.
It's better than Yingling.
It's better than Yingling in the way that it doesn't give you heartburn for the next 3 years.
It doesn't fill you up.
Or tastes like shit.
Or tastes like shit. That is a true. Those
Sorry,
are all
Yingling.
true
You can sponsor us, but your beer's bad.
You can do it, but you got to be better than Hams for us to really like you. And that's hard to do. Lion's Head kind of came in like first or second place in our first beer taste test, right alongside Hams. So we're drinking that, and then we're going to be also drinking a beer from Lagunitas, which is
I just cracked the first one.
I've never had this.
The 12th of never.
The 12th of never.
I usually drink the straight
Lagunitas, yeah.
I like that one.
They had the little something. They had the little something.
I mean, if you've had Lagunitas before, you know exactly what this is going to taste.
Yeah, it's going to taste like a Lagunitas.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I've had it in the past. It is an extremely delicious beer. We're all going to be jumping into that shortly. We are going to be heading to our first break. Now, for our first break, we have a special treat. We are going to be playing a song that was written by our guest, Mr. Keith Moucha.
Well, I guess both songs tonight were.
And yeah, both songs.
Zach just like did all this computer stuff that
no,
made
this
it
is
sound
just
like
you
a
first.
song.
Yeah.
This
song is our old band that Keith wrote. It was Keith, myself, our friends Levi, Adam, and Micah, and it was
Zach
recorded.
Helped out at one point.
Zach did play. Van Wy was playing drums for a show or two here and there, and it was recorded by our really good friend Matt Warmbier,
who we got to see
for the first time in a few years.
Matty, I'm glad that the first time I seen you in like 3 years, I hugged you and touched your butt, and you were like totally cool with it.
Yeah, he was totally cool. I was caressing his head during the prayer part. My dad was saying a prayer, and he was like, "Hold a hand," or just reach, look down. And so I just grabbed the top of Maddie's head, and I was just like caressing it aggressively all the way through the prayer while I was staring at my father as he prayed. Real respectable, like. So now this song is called Professionals. It is by Poor Ghost. It is 7 years old, 7.5 years old.
I'm pretty sure I wrote it on bath salts.
You wrote it on bath salts?
Which I legally bought from a place in town that told me that I could do it for such purposes.
And you wrote this song on those legal bath salts, and then did you eat anybody's face afterwards?
No, I never did. I really enjoyed it. It was just a terrible come down.
All right. Yeah. Well, hey, this is the plus sides to
a terrible come down.
To a terrible come down. It is called Professionals. It's got Keith singing most of it. I'm on there as well. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with more of Kyle Moucha Won't Shut Up. See you soon. Bye-bye. Welcome back to Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up live here on YouTube every Tuesday. Oh, that was the next song. That was the next song. Oh, now that was a wonderful little trip down memory lane. Now you guys have never heard anything from Poor Ghost before, right?
No.
You've never heard. That again was Keith's Bath Salts Epic. Mark Miller gave the comment to this that was the best song that we played in our set. He said it had kind of a early Bright Eyes feel to it in the actual like story.
I feel like I was listening to a lot of Desaparecidos during that time.
Definitely.
So, you know, Conor Oberst and, you know, other influences.
For sure. And we both grew up listening a lot to Taking Back Sunday and the dual backup vocals. Yeah. And for us, that was definitely one of the more enjoyable songs to perform. The other three or four that are recorded.
I would sing that song and my voice would just be like blown out.
Oh, yeah.
I was just shouting.
Yeah, you went fucking nuts on that.
Manic or whatever.
Yeah, you were a manic whatever. Sometimes you can really be a manic whatever, you know that? Yeah. But we recorded a couple. Our best song that wasn't recorded, though, had... I don't even remember...
I don't know what the name was.
I don't know
Levi
the name of it.
and I jammed it the other day.
Did you? It had Levi's probably my favorite bass line that he's ever written. It was extremely enjoyable. And one day I would like to actually try to record that. Get the band back together, you know? Get everybody back together 7 years later.
From God.
We're on a mission.
It'd be funny. It'd be an awesome montage because we would just like run to wherever Micah's like cooking sushi and he'd just like leave and sushi would just burn.
Yeah.
And, like,
the sushi would burn on the grill.
See, like a pissed off customer as we're leaving out.
Why is this sushi cooked? I ordered this sushi. I didn't want it cooked at all.
Charcoal.
Yeah. Now what's
I really don't know how you make sushi.
I
don't think you cook it.
You don't cook anything, actually.
Well, no,
I mean, you might cook some of the shrimp, tempuras, and stuff like that. Most of it's raw. And
you cook the rice.
You do cook rice.
All right.
That would be terrible. Imagine a sushi roll without cooked rice. Yeah, was just raw.
Oh, man, that'd be the worst.
That'd be great. I think we should start doing that.
We should just put like
raw sushi,
popcorn,
full raw sushi,
sausage, like
sewage,
raw sausage,
raw sausage. Sounds like some weird
Dr. Raw sausage.
Yeah. That's like the behind the scenes stories.
Emphasis
Dr.
on the
Seuss. Behind.
Oh my God! It's all you need is this.
Burpee? Burpee. All right. So,
Burpee and Slurpee.
Your impression, Justin, of the song. It's, 7 years ago, recorded in a bunker. None of us were sober.
Wait, this was recorded at Micah's house?
This was recorded at Micah's house in the bunker, yeah.
All right.
What do you think?
No, I like it. It's something I would have listened to growing up. You know what I mean? Like... That's right.
7 years ago?
7 years ago, 2011. Yeah. And it definitely has the feeling that it was written
11 years ago.
Yeah, 11 years ago.
I was getting a little at the drive-in-ish.
Yeah,
that's sweet.
Sort of Thursday
with the bass line going.
Yeah, Levi always had these really melodic bass lines.
Yeah.
The trill on that, the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, that part of it is like, I would go back and just like keep listening to that over and over again. Well, if you'd like to hear more from Poor Ghost, you can go to Reverb Nation, Poor Ghost.
ReverbNation.com/Poor Ghost.
Poor Ghost.
If enough people listen to it, they'll do a reunion.
Yeah,
probably
we'll do a reunion.
Not with Micah.
Yeah.
Probably not.
What did Micah play?
Micah was the guitar player.
I think I could fill in. If
you can fill in if he doesn't want to do it. He's busy man. He doesn't have.
He's got a lot of sushi to cook.
Yeah,
he's got all that sushi to burn.
All that sushi to burn.
All that raw rice.
That's the name of the album. Sushi to burn. Riffs to learn. Sushi to burn.
All right, now tonight we wrote another song. We did not break any length records here, did we? Wait, did we?
How long is the song?
Almost 5 minutes.
Almost 5 minutes. All right, so that's a short one.
I feel like I wasn't playing that long.
You definitely weren't.
I'm a magician, though.
You are magic.
I can stretch a little into a lot.
Yeah. Now, Keith, you're.
My penis.
I think. Have we had anybody else really sit in? I think Richard sat in and played on something with
Mark
played the bass.
Mark tried making Jim's over, but he never brought any of his guitars.
Well, he brought it over the last time. We just already had the song almost finished by the time he got here. Yeah, Mark had the slap bass. Yeah. But yeah, so we have Keith in house, and why not utilize him?
Yeah, I mean, he wrote
the song for the most part. He wrote a riff. We basically just asked him if he had any riffs that he had been working on, and where'd you come up with the riff for the base of the song? When did you stumble across that? What salts were you bathing in?
Salts? Nah, I was. I think we were, because I'm a caregiver now, and we've been caregiving for my girlfriend's grandmother.
Okay.
And I think it was just one day, because I always play like church songs for her, and so I was playing
on guitar, like you're playing like hymns.
I'll play like old hymns and
That's
stuff
awesome.
for her because she likes it, and it makes her sing, and it keeps her in a good mood. And
Hell
shit.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we made like a playlist of songs that she likes, and sometimes I just get annoyed listening to the same
Yeah.
15 songs from the 1930s to 1952.
Okay, yeah.
And so
A lot of Bing Crosby.
Yeah, so I think I was
Hell yeah.
just like at a point where I just needed to play something different, and I just I've been getting a lot more into like old like bluegrass, like Americana.
You said the flat picking style.
like flat picking style.
Definitely came out.
And
in that,
Hey
too.
Fork, I got to play with this really cool dude, Izzy, and he's like all into like flat picking and stuff. And
Oh yeah.
he's a really cool player. So I've been trying to like get more into like old styles of music, like Norman Blake and Doc Watson, and
Yeah, you like to send me a lot of stuff here
like
and there.
Waylon Jennings, like random stuff.
Hell yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
You got it.
Yeah, like old, like I like Hank Williams. I don't know how much I feel about Hank Williams. The two.
Yeah.
See, I love Junior, and
Yeah.
I really love
The
the
third?
third.
The third.
And I do like Hank,
Hank the
regular
third,
Hank too.
yeah.
Is good. All the Hanks are good.
But I think I've been like more stuck in like the Roy Rogers area.
Hell yeah.
yeah,
And there's this one group called like Devil Makes Three that has this kind of, I don't know how to explain it. They have like a cool like rag feel to them, like a dirty feel to them.
Like ragtime,
I don't know how to explain it. It's cool. It's just like, if you guys never listened
like
to Devil Makes
washboards
Three,
and stuff like that.
kind of just like upright bass,
Okay.
banjo,
Gotcha.
Hell yeah.
maybe a banjo and like acoustic. Just
Hell yeah.
really simple stuff.
So you were just fucking around, needed to play something different, came up with that riff,
so,
and you just been
yeah. And
playing
then it
with
was
it?
like really hypnotic at first. I just felt like I was doing a snake charming song. I was
Okay.
like, down.
I thought you were gonna say you thought you were doing hypnotic.
I was doing a hypnosize.
Hypnosize?
Hypnocide.
Hypnosize?
That's a good fucking hypnotic death metal band name.
Yeah. Ooh.
Hypnocide.
Yeah, Death
It's
of the
like Pink
Green
Floyd, but
Fairy.
we want to kill you.
We're building up a wall to crumble it on top of you.
Yeah.
We're sending the animals to get you. I wish you weren't here.
Hypnocide.
You're just one dead soul inside my fishbowl because I drowned you there. That
Wow.
would be it.
It's heavy.
That's a
That'd be
nice
it.
lyric.
Those are all of my Pink Floyd memories. That's all I can think of right now. All in all, just another brick in that wall. Now, Keith recorded the guitar part, and as Zach has said, we're built for speed here. So we like to put in little segments, and Zach just kind of works his magic. So after we get the guitar
It's
down...
like the Mars Volta style, like Omar style. It's just like, you sit down and I'm like, you play that part. Okay, good. And I'm like, what's next? What's before? Doesn't matter. You play that part and I'll figure it out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you
And
like
that's fun for me.
you are the orchestrator of it all, for
That's
sure.
cool, man.
Yeah. Now, Justin, you put in the drums. What was the approach for the drums this week?
Also simple, man.
Yeah.
Like blues, very bluesy. Like I wanted to make sure that the acoustic guitar was shining through.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then tempo change. You know what I mean? Like,
Because it does
that's
have
pretty much
I mean, at first, the beat, the tempo that Zach had put in there was pretty fucking fast.
well, yeah. I
It's
mean,
still
the songs
It's
are
at 200.
Okay.
Which is standard for like bluegrass stuff. Like
Yeah.
most bluegrass riffs are meant to be
Now,
played.
what was
like,
what was the tempo at when we did my my shit punk song, the purposely bad punk song? You remember what that was?
Yeah, I don't remember much of
That's
that.
probably
man.
like-
That was absurd.
That was a pretty fast one.
That was
I feel like that was 180 though.
180. All right.
Yeah, the bluegrass is. See, the bluegrass, the number is high, but the feeling
is slower.
Is a little. It feels a little slower than what the number would suggest. Because you're playing mostly eighth notes at 200s. The punk stuff, you're playing 16th notes at 180.
All right, so it just has the slower
I think the lowest, last week we dropped down to 65.
I thought you were going to say 6 because it felt like that.
I think it was 65 in the bridge.
6 beats per minute would be impressive, though. That's how we write our 19 minutes.
That's some sludgy tunage.
Yeah. A lot of sustain.
We'll get there.
Not much anything else.
One day.
All right. So for the vocals on this, again, I just like to kind of put myself on the couch, kind of in the corner, and just write it, and then get up and do the vocals.
Right. Now, does it change when you hear different parts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I write kind of just like groups of lyrics. I'll just write groupings of lyrics and be like, all right, this kind of works, this works, like here and there. And then I'm hearing you guys put it together piece by piece. So when it's all ready for me, I need to hear it through 1 or 2 times. Right. And then even at that point, I don't really know where I'm going to go with it. I have a base idea. So with this, I kind of went in trying to do not really Hank the Third sound in any way, but try to do more of that slightly aggressive, but still that folk, little bit of a country twang to it. And lyrically, I was going to write something about like train hopping, but I just felt like I don't know enough about the verbiage there, and didn't want to come off as a total poser in that realm, because those guys will come after you with like
with a fucking hatchet, man,
and a hatchet.
I just bam, I hit him with a hatchet.
I don't know many train hoppers that really go around with a hatchet.
They don't. They need you. That's good protection.
Just that. Remember that guy, that video? All my train hoppers know this. What the fuck was that guy's name?
I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
He was like a train hopper, and he was hitchhiking, and he got a ride with this dude who was crazy, who basically told him that he could do anything he wanted, and then he hit a bunch of people with his car. While the train hopper guy was like just hitching a ride using the passenger seat.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you remember that? And then there's this whole like long. It's like one of those guys that got famous because there was a crazy TV interview. The guy's like dreads, and he's like, so like he just hit these people with his car.
I know what you're talking about.
And then he like grabbed this woman, and he was like threatening her. So I remember that. Bam! I hit him with a hatchet. That dude ended up killing a bunch of people. Actually,
he did.
He's in jail right now for murdering another guy.
Oh wow!
Not the guy who crashed the car, the train hopper dude.
The train hopper guy.
So well, people are crazy.
People are crazy. We'll say
crazy people clumped together.
Not all train hoppers carry hatchets, and not all train hoppers are crazy. A lot of them just like to hop trains and see the country in a different way.
Right.
But I don't know anything about that, so I just wrote lyrics from the point of view of somebody who did something terrible and just had to run away. That's basically what my thought was, and I like to write lyrics about us being in hell or going to hell or something along those lines. So what did I name? What did we name this?
Waiting.
Hell's Waiting. So Hell's Waiting is the name of the song. We all put in our parts. Yes. And then started breaking down upstairs to
setting up here and hearing weird, crazy shit.
Crazy. So Zach, before we hear the final product of what this song is, what do you want to tell us? What did you do?
I just brunched it.
You brunched it.
All right.
What would I do? What would brunch do?
You make it fucking weird.
I did. I just did what my go-to stuff is.
What?
All right, so we can expect some noise, some just weirdness. It's gonna be fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is Hell's Waiting. We're gonna jump right into it. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more to Keith about his travels and life and how everything's going. It's gonna get real simple. All right, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. See you soon.
cheap ticket I could buy. Landed today in a town I don't know. New day, the city knew me. Let's go. Didn't bring more than I could pack in my jam sport book bag, slung up on my back. Couple of shirts and briefs and socks, one pair of old denim, I even left my Crocs. This is me now, this is where I'm gonna be. This is me now, hell's waiting at home for me. Was it worth it, you ask? Jump to up and go. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. Thought I'd even change my name, be a Bob, Bill, or baby, or maybe a Jane. Find me a lady in my new hometown, hide my dark secrets and learn to settle down. I can never forget the day when I did those things, the words I might have said. She won't either, and now that's why I failed. Started anew in Fort Lauderdale. This is me now, this is where I'm gonna be. This is me now, hell's waiting at home for me. Was it worth it, you ask? Jump to up and go. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. This is me now, this is where I'm gonna be. This is me now, hell's waiting at home for me. Was it worth it, you ask? Just to up and go. I'm in heaven now, hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. This is me now, this is where I'm gonna be. This is me now, hell's waiting at home for me. Was it worth it, you ask? Just to up and go. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. I'm in heaven now, 'cause hell's waiting for me at home. Whoa, welcome
That was
back.
cooler than I thought.
Holy shit. So what that, okay, the end of the song there, is that the guitar reversed or something?
Yeah, there's a bunch of reverses in the whole song.
Hell yeah. That fucking sounds great. That is, that gets infectious. I was saying while it was playing, the 3-part harmonies that we did there definitely have like a Beatles feel to it.
Yeah.
But that's probably just because it's 3-part harmonies.
Probably.
I think anytime you do, especially that kind of sound.
And when you pan them like that, too.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
cool.
That was a
Definitely.
Beatles thing. You know, Paul's in your left ear and John's in your right ear.
Yeah.
Is that the way they did it?
Not
necessarily because
always,
ears.
but a lot of times.
Oh, I wonder if that's why there was an audio issue. I wonder if that's why there was an audio issue because it was panned at one point.
Maybe.
Who with who?
I don't know. Somebody listening at home had a little bit of a...
Oh, well, if you're not set up for stereo, sorry.
Yeah. Might have been a little issue.
If you're listening on your phone...
Yeah.
I think it's a computer.
On some old computers, if it's stereo for us.
And when it goes out,
if you want to listen to our shit,
stereo.
Get 2 speakers. Sorry, I'm a bit of a dick. Stereo means 2 speakers. It doesn't mean you got one of those fucking Bluetooth fuckers you suction cup to the wall with 1 speaker.
I need one.
You're
of those,
losing
though,
half of
for the shower.
You're losing half of what you got. You just get I got that
JBL.
JBL is fucking waterproof.
Oh, the one that you brought this weekend.
Or you can get the clip one, dude. It's just as loud.
Yeah, I mean, if anything you get, make sure you get something
JBL though
that does that does it in stereo, because if you put even old Beatles stuff like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
You ever listen to Beatles with just have 1 headphone in?
No.
You lose.
I'm sure you lose a lot.
Fucking half of the song. You know what I mean? Because they're notorious for hard pans.
Yeah.
Well then, so you know, just listen to us in stereo.
Just so you know.
Listen
to us in stereo.
That's a new shirt we're gonna be making. So you know, listen in stereo.
It must be listened to.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
But that could have been the issue. So.
All right. Well, either way, our guest tonight is Keith Moucha, Colorado Jones, my younger brother, one of my younger brothers.
We got somebody who said hi in the chat.
Oh, we got we got a Wayne Fugate live here. Hey, to Wayne, how we doing? Welcome to the show.
Don't know who you are, Wayne.
If you join us live, you get to interact with us. So it's a great reason to join us live every Tuesday. But we are going out now every Monday on iTunes, along with the other Moot Drop. Second episode is down, or is already on from last week. And they're also dropping us right alongside let me ask you a question. Okay. Not how did this get made? We're not.
How did this get made?
No, we're not that big yet. That's a real big podcast. We're not anywhere near them. But Keith is here. Now, Keith.
Yo.
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, you are in town from California for our brother's wedding, as we already discussed. Yeah. You do a lot of traveling. You've gone all over the country in a van. You've gone all over the country in other vehicles. You even did a trip as well on a Greyhound years ago, right?
Yeah.
You did Greyhound to Arizona.
Yeah.
So you and I have a lot in common outside of familial things. We've done some traveling. What I want to do here is talk to you about some of the bigger places that you've not bigger places, but some of the places you've spent most of your time in. And I want to get you to give us kind of a TripAdvisor style review of these cities and these towns that you've spent extended periods of time in. I want you to give us maybe a brief description of them and then give it a ranking as well. Now, some of us might have been to these places, so we can all chime in and say what we think. And the first one, we're going to start right off at the beginning, which is always a pretty good place to start, as I've heard. Your first hometown was Bushkill, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Technically.
Born in East Stroudsburg.
I
don't really know where one ends and the other begins.
Somewhere by Marshall's Creek, and there's a couple other things in between, I believe, Smithfield.
It's a gray area.
I think it's a little bit right
I'm going to say Bushkill.
Bushkill.
I think Fernwood starts.
I like Bushkill.
You like Bushkill. Now, what would you rank Bushkill on a scale of 1 to 5 for you grew up there, for growing up as a child?
Well, there's a radio commercial that used to air around here where it said for like Patrizzo's, which is in Bushkill.
I know
They say, come to Patrizzo's in downtown Bushkill, the center of the universe.
It is the center of the universe.
Center,
so,
the total center of the universe.
You know, if that's the center of the universe, I think it's not that bad of a place.
It's not that terrible.
Yeah,
What would you say are your fondest memories of growing up in Bushkill? What were the better parts of that area?
Definitely growing up in the woods, just like being
Hell yeah, dude.
like in the nature was really awesome because I remember when we would go to the falls and like the creek.
Yep. We had wonderful waterfalls right behind our house a little bit that we could jump off.
10-foot cliff on one side of this waterfall.
This is in Saw Creek?
In Saw Creek,
bordering, what's that little community?
There's the falls within Saw Creek, So, there was like a 10, 15 foot little like Pride Rock style jump, and then across the water, there was what we were going to say, like a 25, 30 foot jump, maybe. And then the top one.
The top one was like we've had debates.
Somewhere between 45 and 60 is what people say.
I think it's probably about like in like the lower 50s.
Yeah,
40-footers, man, has been said.
Yeah,
it is an intense jump that I've never
cool
done.
One that's in Winona.
Yeah, Winona.
Yeah.
Well, I've never done the big jump. I'm shocked if I get off that 15-footer without just like
that big jump. It's like you have to run off.
You have to clear about 15 feet.
There's not like a solid path for you to run. So when you run off it, you have to, dodge like jagged rocks that are sticking out.
Which is very safe.
Very safe. When you jump out, you have to like clear the one platform.
I want to say it's about 15 feet of jumping out before you're in the clear to actually land in water.
Even then, you're really close to
the shallow parts of the water right up against,
So it's a very dangerous thing to do. But
now, that danger was part of it.
I remember seeing people doing like backflips off
like, last year. Actually, my graduation party from high school, we all went down there, and our buddy Skip climbed up a tree and then slid down the branch of a tree and dropped into the water. And the tree was probably another 30 feet above that jump. Right. And he just scaled it down, and he was just like all torn up from the branches and everything. Yeah. So that was intense. So on a scale of 1 to 5 for growing up, what would you give Bushkill?
I give it, like an 8 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10, so that'd be a 4 out of 5?
Because it's cool. There's a bunch of places you could explore. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5,
We're doing that. But out of 10, it just seems...
Okay, we'll go out of 10. That seems more natural for you,
Yeah, it's like my whole life.
It is. You are 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
So is that why you're giving the place you grew up
I think,
an 8 out of 10?
I give it a B.
All right.
It was... it's probably better that I didn't, like, grow up in a town.
Yeah.
But
you learn a lot of things. You definitely learn how to entertain yourself when you grow up in the woods. Mm-hmm. You do find crazy, weird things to interest yourself in, like something we've talked about.
There's a lot of cool spots that you find and make your own.
Like there was this old abandoned Renaissance fair behind our house.
Oh yeah, right across the river.
All these bridges, and I remember like even there's like caves too. I remember Craig and his friends used to go into this really shallow tunnel.
Okay.
Where they would just like go in like feet first, and you didn't know like how narrow it got at a point.
Yeah.
But it was right by like the one bridge where you can like drop in. I don't know. It's
drop into the water. You're talking about the water jump. Yeah.
So they would. I remember them crawling through like a hole in a cave and like the side of a cliff wall.
So many weird little nooks and crannies along that river, and I mean, just growing up in the woods, you find caves, you find just weird rock formations, overturned trees, anything like that, and it just becomes your hangout for the day or the summer or anything like that. And one big thing that we always did as kids, and we've talked about on the show in the past, is trying to find a good stick.
A good stick,
a good walking stick. You want a good stick.
You need a good place where you can put the good stick.
You do.
You need a good stick stash.
A good stick stash. You need to find a stash spot for your sticks. Right. If you don't have a stick stash spot, I mean... someone's gonna steal that stick.
Wayne says crow's nest.
Crow's nest.
Crow's nest at 40 foot.
Yeah.
I did that because it's like another 50 feet off 40 foot. And it's like you have to jump through the trees. And you have to climb up to like this little perch and you're surrounded by trees. And it's like a 90-foot plunge. It sounds straight down into like 15 feet of water. Maybe.
I was never doing that.
I did that when I was like 14 or 15.
I fucked myself up on this.
Yeah, you did a lot of crazy shit.
Then like the next year, like somebody was found like dead in that
people died in these places that we were swimming in. Let's stop. But then people die in the Delaware every year trying to cross that too. And
True.
I don't have any problem going in
crazy,
there.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm not.
People die in their houses all the time from self-inflicted shotgun wounds to the head. You know?
I'm not afraid of going in my house anymore.
That evil hand.
Yeah. All right.
Dude.
So following Bushkill, Keith, biographically, you moved to East Stroudsburg at that point.
Yeah.
Our family bought a house in town. I'm going to say you were, I got to be like, what?
15 or
15?
14.
So you're a freshman, sophomore in high school?
Freshman year is when I moved.
Very cool. Now, what is your opinion of East Stroudsburg as a town?
It's really cool. I really like skating growing up, so it was really easy for me to get around everywhere, and there was a lot more, people there. When we lived in Salt Creek, and I had to hang out with somebody, like the nearest community was Winona Lake, so you had to go like 5 miles to hang out with your friends. Or something.
You couldn't just walk to a friend's house. Or if you rode your bike to a friend's house, it took 45 minutes.
Before cell phones, I remember I once rode from. I went to Winona Lakes, and none of my friends were like home. And then I was like, all right, so I'm gonna go to Lake of the Pines, and then none of my friends were there either. So
Which is a hell of a hike.
Yeah.
From Bushkill.
And were you skating this?
This is on bike. I biked from Salt Creek to the Stroud Mall.
That fucking hill down
to the Stroud Mall? That's like
25 miles.
It's like 25 miles. Jeez. And then
how'd you get home?
Yeah, did you get picked up?
I biked back.
You biked back? See, that became a lot easier when you moved into town.
I knew like the back roads though, so that's like the cool things I think about growing up in like Bushkill. It made me appreciate back roads.
Oh yeah, dude.
And I think all the areas that I've lived that I really like living in have just like it's really difficult to get to these places.
Okay. You enjoy the challenge then.
Yeah.
You enjoy the challenge.
Fair enough.
What would you say was the biggest culture shock from moving the small distance of 20 miles from Bushkill to East Stroudsburg as far as, you said you were 14, 15 years old.
I think it definitely made me lazier as a person.
Okay.
Because I remember when we would have to go to school, we lived 45 minutes away from the school, so we had to be up at like
super early,
6 or earlier.
Yeah, 5:30, 6 o'clock wake up time. Yeah. Especially in our household, all of us trying to get ready.
Yeah, it was wild. So going from being like 45 minutes to being able to skate like straight down the street that my like homeroom is on.
Yeah.
Right.
Was awesome. I was like 7 minutes away, so I would wake up every day at like 7 o'clock when homeroom was at like 7:17.
Okay.
And
so you could wake up pretty much 7 o'clock.
I could just wake up.
Be at school.
I just skated to school. I just threw on whatever I was already wearing. And
now, did it make it? I mean, we literally lived a mile away from your high school. How easy was it for you to then be able to, skip, cut class?
It was really easy.
Fuck off, do whatever you wanted.
I figured out my freshman year that if you told like the security guard that you had senior release, they just like
as a freshman.
Yeah, I just knew that like all these seniors got senior release, so that was really cool. And we had a bunch of construction going on, so it was just incredibly easy to. When the Bunnell building was there,
that fucking building, dude.
That was, and then they had all these like modules that we had class in
the Bunnell,
and it was just like really easy. Like I would see like there's this one teacher, Mr. Jacobs. He was a cool guy. I would see him like going out for like his like midday cigarette when I'm like cutting class and shit. And I would just like skate around and stuff. It was like it was really easy to get out of school.
What would you give it? What would you give it out of? We're going with 10. Out of 10, what would you rank East Stroudsburg? You went with an 8 for Bushkill. You set the bar pretty high there.
Yeah, that's funny that I give Bushkill an
8. you can change it if you want.
I mean, you can also tie it if you want.
I think it's cool though. Bushkill like was definitely more.
We're in a submarine.
Sorry, I hit the mic. That's what that noise was. Yeah.
Bushkill definitely has more for like creativity, I think.
So you got to drop East Stroudsburg a little bit below that.
Because I feel like when I first started playing music, Bushkill was where like I first started playing, and like like the.
Well, you had the space to be as loud as you want in most cases.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
But I think that.
So out of a 10, what do you give East Stroudsburg?
I give East Stroudsburg probably like a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. All right.
Yeah.
Now, following East Stroudsburg, you moved out to Northern California. You moved up to Hayfork.
Yeah.
Now, for people who do not know Hayfork, describe Hayfork. How would you describe that town?
Well, Hayfork's like one of those, like when you're driving down a highway and a part of the country you've never been in. For most people, it's a place that you just drive through. But Hayfork was...
So it's like a Portland for the area or Water Gap?
Not even.
Portland, Pennsylvania.
Maybe Portland, Pennsylvania.
is what I'm saying.
It's like you could fit the entire town of Hayfork like in like 4
one
buildings.
small block. Okay,
Yeah, it is. It's a small town. I always described it for people that live in like the Poconos area. It's like you took Pleasant Valley and you just took like the farmers of Pleasant Valley, plucked them, and then just dropped them on top of a mountain and said, grow pot for a living.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. There's like a bunch of old stuff from there because it used to be like a big logging community. And then before that, it was the gold rush. So that area needed something to keep going.
And so the green rush really comes in and helps out
like
there.
in the early 90s, or in the mid 90s when the Prop 215, I think, is what it was that gave like
it was
people
like 95, 96,
like, the
I think it went
ability to
through.
grow medical. It just created this whole rush.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And
What do you think was the biggest culture shock there, going out there?
It was just the fact that you walk down the main street in the town and you can smell like a grow like happening. So it's just like weed was everywhere
because it's legal at that.
Because it was very like outlaw.
Well, it's legal through medical.
Because this like Hayfork, I'm pretty sure can't afford to have a cop on duty more than like 4 days out of the week.
Okay.
So
I think that's the same way as Milford.
Yeah.
It's just like a really small town where people can get away with murder, literally. And
it's the Wild West out there.
It is very wild.
It is crazy.
Well, the Midwest feels that way, though.
The Midwest,
even when I was in Colorado, I'm like, this just feels way different.
It's so weird because I lived in LA. I knew California up to Ventura County, which is like a tenth of California.
Right.
And when I went out there for my week vacation, that turned into me living there for 5 months. I got there, and the thing that was the biggest culture shock to me was the fact, how openly, marijuana is being grown there for medicinal use, and everybody pretty much had a medical card out there. It was just the most, whatever. It was nothing. I remember getting a pouch of tobacco and hanging out with a bunch of people, and within an hour, my tobacco pouch was half no longer tobacco and a half weed, because tobacco is harder to come by some days than weed was. And it was crazy because people, you work in it, you get.
There's an open mic that happens at the cafe where you can donate like a pound of weed, and you get into like the whole year of shows.
Yeah, you get the whole year of shows for free.
Like, some sort of special treatment.
It's a magical fucking little town. It's magical. So out of a 10 there, what do you give Hayfork?
I give Hayfork like a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Hayfork's like probably one of my most favorite places on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's got like so much of growing up in Bushkill because it's got like all this natural beauty.
It is the woods up there.
Yeah.
The pines where the sun never shines for real.
Yeah. And I don't know. That area is a really awesome place.
Hell yeah. Now, after Hayfork, you did some traveling. You bounced around, did some Ren fairs. You guys traveled the country. And then the next place you kind of settled in is Phoenix, correct? Yeah. Now, Phoenix, how long were you in Phoenix for?
Well, it's...
you kind of traveled, you bounced back and forth,
Well, most of the time when we're there, I feel like we're there for like a few months at a time. Because we do the Renaissance Fair there. And we're there for 2 months when we do that. But this past year, we We're there from December of 2017 till probably April.
Hell yeah. Now, this is where your girlfriend, Lucy, grew up. She grew up in this area.
Which is funny, because when I took that trip to Arizona, like the week I graduated, she was working at like a Starbucks like a few blocks away from where...
So you guys came within like,
we were like
yards of each other.
Yeah.
That is absurd. Now, what was your favorite part about experiencing living in Phoenix? Because that is way different from here. That is way different
I think
from Hayfork.
Just the Southwest in general is the biggest culture shock you can have, like going from one side of the American continent to the other. And Phoenix just has all, like, I remember being a kid and singing Purple Mountains Majesty.
Yeah. I've heard that one. Yeah.
I don't know what song that is, but I know they start talking about like
Is that America the Beautiful?
Maybe that's what we're talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Star Spandex Banner.
Yeah, stars in spandex.
On banners.
On banners.
Famous
David
stars
Banner?
in spandex.
Oh man.
Bruce Banner in spandex stars.
What? Yeah, the Hulk's pants never rip off.
They never rip off. They're probably spandex.
But I really like Arizona. I think of I'm living in Southern California now, and I definitely like the atmosphere. Phoenix specifically, if you're really into food, it's the biggest, like one of the biggest foodie cities that you could go to. So anything you want to eat. Mexican food is incredible.
Oh, that whole region down there. Oh, Arizona, New Mexico, you really can't. New Mexico goes real heavy on that green chili on everything.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
But
The first like authentic Mexican food I've ever had was in New Mexico when my uncle lived there.
Yeah.
And then he moved to Stafford, and he's been living there since. He loves it though.
So you visited Arizona as well.
Yes.
What do you like? What do you get the same vibe like as that? Just the culture shock from there.
I think it was more culture shock going to New Mexico than it was Stafford, because it almost felt like being here, except for wasn't trees.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the next closest thing to him was 45 minutes away.
Jesus.
But he did that on purpose. But where the shock is the one night I went to go smoke a cigarette and there was just scorpions on his deck, like just covered. I'm like, I'm going back to bed.
Did you get any? You run any of that? Any scorpion?
No, not so much scorpions as cholla.
What's cholla?
Cholla is this cactus that is everywhere.
Okay.
And it just like gets like it pricks into you and it just stings. It's like this really terrible shit.
That sounds terrible.
It's like
it stings.
It's like a Yeah, it's a really terrible kind of cactus.
Oh.
Wayne says, steady hands for steady spandex.
Steady hands for steady for sure. For sure. All right, so then, as you already alluded to, you've been spending time in Southern California now, Orange County, Huntington Beach, Fountain Valley, more specifically. You've been working, doing the caretaking there. What?
I think it's caregiving.
Caregiving.
I'm not really taking...
Yeah, what's caretaking?
I don't know. It just
like
makes
when you take care of an inanimate object.
Oh,
You're
okay.
the caretaker of a house.
Oh.
When you're caregiving,
That makes
you're giving care to
a living person or being of some sort. Okay. So you're giving care. You're not taking it.
Yes.
All right. Now
take care giving care though.
This is the most time that
I take care of caregiving.
You do? Taking care of caregiving.
That needs to, you need to have a business card that says Keith Moucha, taking care of caregiving.
Yeah.
I want to get one that says the Mitch Hedberg joke where it's just like,
free
maybe
lunch.
I'll wait a lunch if I'm lucky.
If I'm lucky. So this is your first real experience living in Southern California, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is your impression of Southern California?
Well, Orange County is a very conservative place.
Okay.
And
a rich conservative.
It's rich conservative.
Yeah.
So we went to this like mall called South Coast Plaza before we came out here, and we were like trying to get everything like ready for the wedding.
Yeah.
And so we go to this mall, and there, like I've never been in a place where there was like a Gucci store or like a
Jesus
like
in a mall.
Yeah, it was a
Gucci?
mall, and they have like Gucci and Prada, and it's like the most ritziest mall.
And you're walking around,
and I'm walking around like literally in what I'm wearing. Minus
in
the
your
suspenders.
Clothes. Yeah.
So it's like all the class I have is just gone.
Gone. No suspenders. No class.
I just
bolo tie.
I might have had a bolo tie.
Then you're good.
Yeah.
But are you rocking the Colorado Jones hat?
Yeah, the Senor Indiana.
Senor Indiana. Hell yeah. What's the worst part about living in Southern California?
For me, since I grew up and I really like skating, skate culture is rampant out there, and it's kind of like in surf culture especially. Like, it's just like a really kind of douchey thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because I'm really cynical about things.
Could be. But just the vibe you get from the people that are doing the thing that you want to be a part of.
Right.
Is it exclusive feeling like you weren't here already?
I don't know. For me, it's been pretty hard to like meet people in the area.
Yeah.
I worked at a Panera Bread because I needed to make money so I can be here.
Yeah.
And so the people we work with there were like pretty cool, but they're all just like college kids that are like going to college, working a shit job just so they can, get by.
Just to make money for booze.
Everybody out there seems like they pay like way too much money for everything. Gas is like $1 more expensive than it is here.
Damn.
My buddy lives in a place where there's like a bunch of other people and you have to spend like $800 a month on rent.
Jesus.
And for you to get into a place of your own, you need like $10,000 with like first, last, and security.
Yeah, so you're just getting...
It's just it's a really expensive place to live, but we have like a good setup where we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But
you're given the care.
Yeah.
So they're taking care of you.
There's like a lot of like cool spots around there though.
What would you give the area you're living in out of 10 right now?
Man, I give it like probably.
I think the lowest you've gone so far is East Stroudsburg with a 6. So you rank it right up there with East Stroudsburg?
I rank it with East Stroudsburg because it's still like, like it's a place where if you grow up, there's like probably like a bunch of like cool stuff you can see.
Right.
I think not having grown up there, for me, there's this summer I wanted to go swimming in a river.
Yeah.
If you want to swim in a river in Southern California, you can't.
You can't.
It's like you're gonna go.
You can go to the beach. You can find someone.
You can find one of those like things from Greece where they race the car, and that's kind of like a river in some places.
Right.
It's like.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was talking like about Greece, the country Greece. You're talking about the.
You don't want to go swimming in the
LA River and all that stuff.
The LA River is
not
and anything along the 405 is not swimming material.
Really, a lot of stuff along the coast of California down there isn't swimming material.
We went to the beach this summer and there was a sign that said, "Warning: the water may be like radioactive," or some shit.
There's a radioactive
because of like
sign?
I think it might be of like Fukushima, like fucked up the ocean or whatever.
So just residual shit.
Well, whatever. We just went into the water.
So with all of that, still a 6 out of 10.
I'd say I rank. For all those people from East Stroudsburg that really wanted to go to California, it's like the same.
Just
thing.
Stay still.
It's like there's beach, but it's like you don't spend as much.
We all
money.
did that. We all moved to Southern California at one point, and then moved back.
Northern California is way cooler.
Not many of us.
Now, what would you say, aside from the cities you lived in, the cities that you visited, what was the least like you expected it? I know you spent time in Costa Rica, you've been in...
I didn't have any idea of what I was getting myself into when I went to that country. I knew nothing about the place. All my friends were like, "Yeah, let's go to Costa Rica." Me and one other dude.
Is that how the whole trip became? Like,
you just said we're gonna go to Costa Rica.
We were just there was some sort of show that Danny Boy was going to, I think. And he's like,
okay.
Danny Boy, a.k.a. Mustache Dan.
I didn't go because it was like $400 for this, like 2 days of, I don't know, just doing drugs on the beach or something.
All right,
like, man, I could do it for cheaper than that.
So what maybe American cities that you've been to that you thought were going to be? I know you and I visited Portland together. Portland had a lot more homeless people than I thought it was going to have.
Yeah.
Like, a lot more homeless people. And I have one specific memory of one guy on a corner of a street as we walked by him twice who was literally trying to offer blowjobs for like $15.
I remember that guy.
We walked by him and he was laying in a bush outside of
laying in a bush
outside of a gas station next to the donut shop we were.
I was
gonna
say we were getting donuts.
Yeah, we were trying to go to Voodoo.
But
and
it was a fucking.
It was like I got a 2-hour wait to get donuts, and I'm not gonna do that. And we walked by, the guy's like, "Oh, I'll suck your dick for $15." We're just like, what the hell just happened? And then we walked back like 5 minutes later because we didn't get what we wanted. We stopped at some little like small donut thing outside donuts, but no, we didn't have donuts at first. He had no idea we were getting donuts. And then we ate the donuts and we walked by without any more donuts. And he's like, "Y'all suck your dick for $15." It didn't go up or down at all. Well, yeah, he hit us up twice.
So you got sucked off twice?
I didn't get sucked off twice. Once maximum. Once maximum.
Ben wants to reconfirm that you did not get your dick sucked.
I did not get my dick sucked in Portland.
Twice.
I did not twice. Did not get sucked twice. All right. So what would you say is the best beer you've come across in your travels?
Oh man, I love Lagunitas.
You love the Lagunitas.
It's really good.
Is that mostly because it's a Northern California beer, so it's more readily available?
I think it's just like a good IPA.
Yeah.
And it's just like a good standard for beer.
Definitely. What about food? What's the best food you've come across? You're saying before the food in Arizona, does that take the cake for you?
The food in Arizona is really good.
Is there anything in East Stroudsburg that's better than in Arizona? Any food that you specifically are craving when you come home that you can't get anywhere out there? That is just
I think it's more
here?
like Goombas is just like something that like in Palumbo's are like two
real pizza.
Good pizza.
Good pizza. You're calling Goombas good pizza, so you're really missing pizza.
Yeah,
you're just.
I like Goombas.
Giant, you do.
I miss working there.
You do.
I got a slice or pie of chicken bacon ranch every night when I would leave.
Don't say. Have you gotten your chicken bacon ranch since you got home?
I'm gonna do that.
It's gotta get done.
Whilst at floods.
Hell yeah! Yeah, there's no window anymore to bar. They used to have that. You used to be able to get right into front row Jock and Jill's in the beginning of Jock and Jill's for a little bit. And now there is no front row or Jock and Jill's.
It's gone.
It's terrible.
The band broke up, and that band is never getting back together.
Never. Is there any update on that? Is it never going to happen?
I have no update. Barry doesn't even tell me about it anymore. I'm like, how's your family? You know what I mean? I don't even bother asking about the fucking bar anymore.
Now, Keith, the last question I really have for you here is: you travel a lot. You guys have been working pretty solidly here. What is your next big travel location? What have you guys? I know you've talked about a couple different places in the past, but have you set anything as your next goal? Your next, let's get out of either the country or anything like that you're really looking forward to?
Well, I think if we get out of the country, we've talked about going to Ireland, and after seeing like how much fun the rich had going there and stuff, that seems. And after we found out that we were Irish,
we found that out.
It seems like definitely the place to go. I think the next time I leave the country, I either want to be there or New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I think it's just those are two.
I want to go to Iceland real bad.
Iceland?
Yeah.
Iceland?
They just stated that they're going to be following Norse gods again. Like that.
The country is?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's going to be a big religious thing that people are following again.
Damn.
Yeah.
Can we go?
I guess we can go.
Can we sign up?
I think so.
What do you have to do?
I don't know.
Are there sacrifices? Yeah?
Oh. You have to love Bjork, and you have to be willing to sacrifice people.
Oh.
All right, done.
Or sacrifice Bjork.
Well, at least we know that Iceland is very nice and Greenland's covered in ice.
Yeah.
So we're good there. We're not going to get ice everywhere.
True.
It's one of those tricky places.
It is.
One of those tricky places. All right. Well, Keith.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, brother. Mm-hmm. It was a real good time hanging out. This is my excuse and my way of getting to hang out with you and chit chat with you. You're a busy motherfucker these 2 weeks that you're home. And we had a wedding and a bunch of crazy shit this weekend.
Hanging out on Ethan's couch, man.
Yeah, that was actually, I was going to ask you, the last thing I want you to rank, the last most recent place you've been living is Ethan's couch. So if you're going to give Ethan's couch a review on TripAdvisor, What out of 10? What would you give Ethan's Couch?
I give Ethan's Couch 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10. So you're hearing it here. Hayfork, California is just as good as Ethan's Couch.
What's it called when it's like an Airbnb, but the people that live there are still there?
I think it's an Airbnb. You're just renting a room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You can do that. Yeah,
that's weird.
Or it's
subletting.
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Is that no? That's usually people leave.
I haven't given
bloodletting. Have you had any bloodletting happen?
Have they leeched you?
Yeah. No. Oh, get the leeches while you're in town.
Yeah,
they're the best.
Leech treatment.
You need to do that right on your eyeballs. Is the best way to do it. I hear.
Yeah.
It really helps your vision.
And your balls.
And your balls. You gotta put leeches on your balls. It helps them engorge them. Engorge.
I'm so engorged.
Yes. Well, again, brother, thank you so much for joining us here. As always, a big thank you to Justin Olimpado.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Zachary.
I'm sick.
Stormin. Maybe he'll be alive and well next week.
Maybe.
Hopefully he'll at least be alive. Maybe he'll be well.
Well, whatever.
You never know. As always, like to tell everybody to go check out Moot.tv's other podcasts. White Wasabi and Let Me Ask You a Question. And Mr. Sean Arajo has Not Movies, and Sean makes music with a friend. I always forget the friend's name. Sean and Jason? I think Sean and Jason make music. Yeah. Look up Sean Makes Music. You'll probably find it.
Yeah.
But check those out. And as always, for Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up, I am Kyle Mocha. We are going to close with our normal song. Whoa.
That's wild, dude.
That's some sci-fi noise right there.
Way to go out.
This is a great way to go out.
Cat don't like it. I'm not singing it.
Oh.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him, we're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will